major legacy talk on the line today, and it's a pair of coaches who will be forever connected, and that is Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. So right now you have SEC Media Days are going on. We'll play some Nick Saban sound for you in a moment. But with Kirby Smart on the doorstep of winning 3 straight at the University of Georgia, 3 straight national titles, that is, there is some thoughts out there that if Kirby Smart is able to do this, does it knock Nick Saban down a peg, right? Does it take away at all from Saban's legacy if Kirby Smart is able to do something that Saban never could, which is Saban has won 7 titles, 6 at Alabama, but could never do the 3 in a row?
Yeah, nobody's done it since my Minnesota Gophers in 1930.
Yes, as we established, your Gophers.
No, I don't think. I think Kirby Smart's got to, first of all, go a long way to catch Nick Saban. But how does it denigrate Saban, who's 71 years old and still, near the top of the game? I think like Saban's doing great, and to me they're in separate buckets. I think Nick Saban's going to go down as definitely the best modern era coach, probably the best college coach of all time, and I think it's safe. And listen, I'm not going to go 20 years ahead for Kirby. But I don't think it knocks him down. Just if Kirby does 3, like Saban's all of a sudden not the best coach. Is that what people are saying?
Perhaps someone else has entered the chat, so to speak.
But not Kirby.
Someone
really?
else. Well, someone's knocking on the doorstep, right? And the way that this is now not just about Saban today, but if we zoom out a little bit, there's also a Belichick conversation. And about Belichick being on the hot seat. And of course, Belichick and Saban are as thick as thieves. I mean, not only did they coach together in Cleveland, you can tell how much Belichick, values Saban's opinion. Hell, Mac Jones is the quarterback of the Patriots right now. I mean, the real true heir apparent to Tom Brady came from Nick Saban's program, or what they're hoping is the heir apparent to Brady. So you have 2 guys who are all-time legends. Belichick's won 6 Super Bowls, but is now on the hot seat. Saban has won 7 national titles, 6 at Alabama. But a thought is, hey, maybe if Smart continues to win at the clip that he is won at, could he match Nick Saban? Could he pass Nick Saban? And so the question is, whose legacy is safer? Who is still 20 years from now, 30 years from now, is still going to be remembered as the all-time greatest coach in their sport? Because right now you would say Belichick is the greatest NFL coach and Saban is the greatest college coach.
I think Saban is a little clearer. Belichick has a couple ghosts that are still there, the Paul Browns and the Vince Lombardis. I mean, Vince Lombardi is also, are we talking modern era or are we talking all time?
We're talking modern era.
You say because Vince Lombardi.
Free agency had to have happened.
Okay, can we put Vince Lombardi in a different category?
Yes, Vince Lombardi goes into a bucket like a Babe Ruth. It's like he'll always be there and it's always great, but there are guys who are going to come after him who are going to be better.
Right. So who is Saban's competition?
Now it's Kirby. That's what I'm saying.
Why Kirby? I mean, Urban was probably more of a competition for him. Kirby's got 2 national titles. Urban Meyer certainly seemed like he was more geared to chase Saban, and that didn't happen. Yeah,
Urban's got 3, but Urban also seems like he's kind of flamed out.
Yeah, totally.
Saban tried the NFL. He failed at the NFL. Urban tried the NFL, failed spectacularly at the NFL level.
I'm just saying it's such a leap to say Kirby Smart all of a sudden is going to be at 6 tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had told me Urban Meyer was only going to win 3 titles, I said, you crazy. He's the best coach in college football by a mile. He's going to just roll. It's so much harder than that. That's why Nick Saban is such an outlier, because he kept doing it and doing it and doing it.
Well, and Bear Bryant also did it. Yeah. We know that. But we're talking a little bit more modern.
There's no way Kirby's going to keep it going this long.
See, I think if anyone's going to catch one of these coaches, it's way more likely to be a college coach. The Belichick, I don't think anyone's catching that. As far as 6 Super Bowls, for a coach who Andy Reid with Mahomes would probably be your best shot right now, and they have 2. I don't see it. I think that Belichick is going to be way more unassailable than Saban. That's the thing about college, man. You keep having these guys who can build more of these dynasties. We talk about in the NFL all the time. Are we getting another dynasty? I mean, the Chiefs would be the closest thing right now.
Well, the thing is, though, Saban's going to keep on building his resume where Belichick's going to keep hurting his resume. I mean, Saban in college football is 71. Alabama's going to keep winning. I mean, even last year was a disappointing year. They only lost 2 games. So there's no bad college football season. Belichick's going to be go out on 5-12. I think that's going to be a real dent to him. And also, he's got the Brady thing. So unless he wins after Brady leaves, that's going to be hanging around him too. I think that Belichick's hurting himself more, and Saban's just sort of going to do that old college football coach coasting thing. Nobody denigrated Bobby Bowden for losing at the end. I think college football coaches just assume they get older and they're pretty good,
Yeah, but in this day and age, I mean, listen, Bobby Bowden, obvious legend, but would Bobby Bowden allow to, kind of call his own number and like call his own shot when he retires as opposed to?
How long ago was that?
Well, it wasn't that long ago, but
12 years ago.
I know. But don't you it's gotten a lot more doggy dog, I think. Hasn't it?
I don't know. What college football is it was pretty doggy dog in 2010.
In a different way now, though, because you have players who are going to get paid through NIL and players who are going to have a little bit more say and a little bit more power, and it's just different for the coaches. Hell, I mean, the college coaches can't stop complaining about it every turn, about the transfer portal and about not so much about NIL. They won't openly complain about that, but they want regulation. They want Congress to step in. I mean, it's Saban in Washington, D.C. a month ago begging Congress to step in and regulate this NIL stuff. It's different waters.
Right. I totally understand what you're saying. It's a very different sport, but Saban can write his ticket much like Bobby Bowden did. No one's going to fire Nick Saban. That's never going to happen. Someone's going to fire Bill Belichick. That's happening. Probably soon.
See, I don't know. We have the clip from Tom Curran. Tom Curran, longtime Patriots reporter, was on the Rich Eisen show the other day talking about Belichick being really seriously on the hot seat.
You talk about avoiding the hot seat. He's on the hot seat, and he's been there at different levels of warmth since 2019.
Really?
In 2019, Tom Brady wanted a 2-year, $50 million guaranteed contract. Belichick somehow convinces Kraft that not spending that money on Tom Brady was a great idea. He wins the Super Bowl, the Patriots, under Cam Newton because they don't have a plan. They have a good 2021. They bounce back. McDaniels leaves. Again, no plan for replacement.
Now, listen, Belichick has the Brady thing that he has to contend with, right? Brady, let's say he doesn't come back. I'm always dubious. Say Brady is actually retired. That is always going to be hanging there. But let's say, you have totally written off that it's impossible to think that the Patriots could have another great season, which I'm not writing off. I don't know if they're winning a Super Bowl, but the fact that they would make the playoffs or win a playoff game or get back to an AFC championship game, I can't completely write that off with Belichick. He's earned that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just following the trends. It seems like they're going downward, and they don't have a lot of talent. Actually, the biggest problem is probably not Bill Belichick, the coach. It's Bill Belichick, the GM. I mean, their expectations are not good for this year. They're universally picked fourth in their own division. Very few people have them in the playoffs. They're a little bit, it's not totally their fault. They're in a tough spot in the AFC East. I don't know. I think you lose your fastball, it's more noticeable in the NFL than in college. Because at college, you have this program built around you. Saban's got a lot of things going for him. I think it's going to be noticeable, Belichick's decline. I think we're going to remember that. I think that's going to be the last thing we see for him. Where Saban, college coaches, we give a pass to. The other thing, too, a couple things about Kirby. You say Kirby's going to chase him and get that many. But listen, the college football is about to change. They're going to go to a much more universal, he's not going to be able to ride that Georgia schedule for 2 more years. You're going to have a giant SEC.
Yeah, no more divisions.
You're going to have a 12-team playoff, so there's so many more chances to trip up. It's going to be really hard. I think Saban actually, in a way, had an easier era than Kirby Smart. So
yeah, the BCS was there for a lot of those.
Yeah, he might be able to do it, but I think it's going to be really hard to chase Saban as well. And Kirby, there have been other Kirbys. I can tell you, Urban Meyer was way better than Kirby, and he imploded. I mean, we'll
see if he's back. But
yeah, I mean, he's actually wired similarly to Belichick, and he's good friends with those two. But I think it's going to be hard. I think Saban is going to be like the last big-time, just sort of gigantic college football coach. I can't see anyone knocking him off anytime soon.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Let's listen to Nick Saban and hear from him. SEC Media Day is going on right now. Saban spoke earlier today. Here's what he had to say about his quarterback competition.
Grandma Saban used to bake the best cakes in the world, and I used to stand by the oven when I was a kid and say, when's this cake going to be done? When's this cake going to be done? And she said, if I don't let it go through and take it out of the oven too soon, it's going to turn to mush, so it won't be a really good cake. So I think we got to let this sort of develop and make sure we let the cake bake until somebody separates themselves.
Okay, but how? When? You know, you don't want to overbake this cake either, because no one wants burnt, dry cake, which I'm sure Grandma Saban never would have done. So when are you going to know when this quarterback's cake is going to be ready?
I said it's not going to be week one. I don't think he's going to decide it's going to be this guy, and he's going to go all year. Remember, he pulled Jalen Hurts at halftime in the national title game for Tua.
Yeah.
So he's not averse to using multiple quarterbacks. I think he starts with one of the guys, then goes, plays him for a little while, see how he does. If he takes off, great. If not, he's going to platoon in the other guy. And, of course, the Maggie and Perloff show has a lot riding on this.
Oh, do we ever? Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I was thinking about this all last night. So we did an SEC quarterback draft yesterday, and 3 out of 4 of us on this show picked an Alabama quarterback. So we all, out of 4 quarterbacks, 3 of us have one on our team. Yeah. So if one quarterback ends up getting all the snaps, 2 people on this show are royally you-know-whatted.
Yeah,
I hope it's not me.
Did anyone else have regrets? So I entered a quarterback competition fray at Ole Miss with Jackson Dart versus Walker Howard and the guy
Spencer
from Oklahoma State. Yeah, so the problem is all 3 of them could end up playing. So I should have taken just an average starter below. I was regretting my strategy. And we forced Maggie into taking Ty Simpson out of Alabama instead of a surefire starter.
I know. I was going to take the Vanderbilt quarterback, and everyone basically turned their, gave me the stink eye. So,
risk versus reward. You got it.
No, you got to be in the game. You got to do it like the rest of us are. We're waiting out a quarterback, sweating out a quarterback battle all August.
Okay, well, here's the thing about this quarterback battle with Saban with Alabama. You're going to have to figure it out pretty fast. You can probably beat Middle Tennessee without a quarterback. I'll give you that. But week 2, September 9th, you're playing Texas. So you got to figure out who your starter is going to be before that game. Then you're at South Florida, which is, that's not nothing. And then you start into your SEC schedule.
But think of old school college football. People would switch quarterbacks all the time.
At halftime. I get it.
Yeah, and they still win the highest level, the Nebraskas and Oklahomas of the world. When nowadays quarterbacks are gigantic stars. I think Saban wants to get back to that old school. Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron. He doesn't want to throw 50 touchdowns. He's going to go out the way he came in, running the football, Maggie.
He's not going out.